We are joined by our guest, Femi Pedro, who believes that there are definitely keys people can use to change their outlook from living in poverty to accumulating wealth. I think we should begin, Femi, with identifying the difference between having a lot of money and being wealthy. What is the difference?
Well, lots of difference. Money is money. It's cash you have in the bank. It's money you keep in your home. It's cash you claim to own. It's liquid. It evaporates. It can disappear. If you leave it unused, it will disappear over time. Wealth is solid. It accumulates over time. It grows. It could last a lifetime. The main difference is that wealth is represented by what we call wealth instruments. That is what accountants call financial assets. These instruments are what generates real wealth. The income derived from this instrument is what constitutes wealth. So there's a major difference. And people make a lot of mistakes by thinking they are one and the same. If as you're sitting down there, I give you 10 million naira, and you don't have a clue what to do with it, within a few months, it's gone.
Few days.
Yeah. But wealth is different. Once you plant your money into a wealth instrument, it works for you. You don't have to do much. 24 hours a day. Compound interest, it multiplies. So that's the major difference.
Good. So, in your book, or maybe I should also take that a little bit further. Yes, you've talked about money. You know, one wonders, is it just this paper? I mean, I want you to take it a little bit further. Explain. Is it just this paper I'm holding that is money in my hands? Or is it an idea? Or is it much more? And then, where is money?
Money is a medium of exchange, a measure of value. The paper you hold in your hand is money. This business, Arise Television, is a wealth instrument. The person or the people who set up this business use money to set it up. But that money is gone into this business, so it's no longer money. It's now a wealth instrument that generates wealth. Whatever returns or profit comes out of this business, that is what constitutes wealth. So I just try and distinguish one from the other.
You know what I'm asking this?
Yeah.
Because some have said that money is not just the paper, for example. It's a dream. It's an idea. You create money in your heart, in your mind. Because, you know, some people wait to have maybe a capital. I'm going to get that later. Yeah. So that's why I'm asking the question.
Well,
you know, what is money? And then where do you find money?
Simply put, if money is an idea, you create it in your mind. When your rent is due at the end of the month, you use your mind to pay your rent. Money is physical. It's physical.
Or like the people that go to church, you say you speak in tongues and then you pay for the tomato in the market.
Yeah, that's it.
All right. Yeah, you wanted to say something? Go ahead.
No, I just want to introduce the book. The book is a must read, particularly for young people starting out in life. It took me a while to put this book together. And it chronicles 40 years of experience, both in the private sector and in the public sector. And it comes in 9 chapters. The first chapter is very interesting. I termed it Winners Don't Quit. And it's about the story of a Nigerian young man, an engineer, who had it rough initially, but with doggedness, persistence, commitment, determination, courage, he was able to pull himself up, started a business, created an enterprise, and is now a very successful, fast-growing enterprise in Nigeria. I'm sure you are familiar with Slot.
Yeah.
Nnamdi Ezigbo. So I use him as an example A lot of young people come out of university, they are confused, they're looking for jobs everywhere, they get frustrated. It's because they don't have this knowledge of the formula for wealth. This book is, an antidote to poverty. You read it, you digest it, and you live it. I can assure you that you pull yourself out of poverty trap.
All right.
And there is no age barrier.
Okay.
Let me take you as an example. I don't know what your wealth status is, whether you are in poverty trap or you have financial security. But I can tell you something. If what you live on is the salary you earn from this job, you are in poverty trap. And it's going to get more and more difficult for you to come out of it. The reason being that as you grow older, your responsibility increases. You are under a lot of pressure. And the pressure on you to live a better life and improve life grows. But you find out that you just struggle continuously. Quite a lot of people work for 30 years, 25 years, and they retire into penury.
All right, let me get in there. Let me jump in there.
Yeah.
Let's talk about investing, for example.
Sure.
What is this concept of money working for you from what you're talking about? That is sending money on an errand or employing money. You were talking about. Go on.
As you are now, I know you earn salary, so you are working for money. Every month you wait at the end of the month to earn your pay. And if for whatever reason the pay doesn't come, you are thrown into disarray and confusion. But if you invest your money in something solid, financial assets like real estate, equities, private companies, or your own business, that is creating wealth, and that works for you. So as you are working in this place, you are earning extra income from your investments. You don't have to worry about that. It's working for you. Compound interest is working for you. If you understand it, you earn it. If you don't understand it, you pay for it. So that's the main difference.
Femi, looking at your book, the portion of the book that we were given, we can see that you have this colorful graph that talks about the rules of wealth, and some of them include a culture of savings, finding a passion, having dreams and determination. All of these things, almost, would you say, do they have a prerequisite of having some type of money in the bank in the first place? Do you have to already have money in order to get more money, in order for the rules and the information you have in your book for them to work? Does somebody already have to have a substantial amount of money in the first place before they can adopt the advice that you've given in your book for it to work for them?
Far from it. From today, you can start living the rules of wealth. You don't have to have money in the bank. You are lucky you have a job. Whatever you are earning from this job, every month set aside a certain percentage, minimum 20%. Don't tell me you are not earning enough, so where can you find 20%? Yes, you can find 20%. You discipline yourself. That's beautiful bag you see on these high streets. You look away. You don't buy it. You don't change your shoes every month. You don't buy dresses as they come. You keep this money aside, and then you give it to an investment advisor. They invest it for you. That grows. That new bag will not grow. You wear it, after a while, it fades out, or it's out of fashion. So wherever circumstance you find yourself, you can live the rules of wealth, because there is no age limit. That you don't have to be a professional. You don't have to be so educated. You don't have to be talented. Just be disciplined.
All right.
Follow the path.
All right. Somebody will say it's easy for you to pontificate. I'm coming back to you, but we will take a break. And when I get back, I'll ask you that question on pontificating and the rest. Stay with us, just watching the morning show. I'm glad to have you back. You're still watching The Money Show. We're discussing with Femi Pedro, the chairman, Small and Medium Enterprises Development Agency of Nigeria and former Deputy Governor of Lagos State. Yes, I was leading up to a question. Somebody would say it's easy for you to pontificate because you were born with a silver spoon or because you have moved in government circle and that has helped you. But with us, with the economy, lack of money, no jobs, and this pandemic, how do I start saving, creating wealth and all that? It's just far-fetched.
It's very simple. First of all, I wasn't born with a silver spoon in my mouth. I grew up in poverty trap, and I started investing in my 20s. And by the time I turned 33, 34, I'd already invested heavily, enough to make me a millionaire. And this is what I'm sharing. You don't have to be born rich. You can find yourself in a difficult situation and you can get yourself out of this difficult situation. Just follow the rules of wealth as I've highlighted in this book. The first time I was confronted with an opportunity to invest and make money, I was only 33 years old. I didn't have any money. I had a job. And prior to that, I was just earning my salary, spending money, and struggling financially. When the opportunity came, I decided to go for it. I became converted and I became committed and I was determined not to fail. And I had to do it with a lot of things, wasteful expenditure. That's what I say, you must discipline yourself. If you don't discipline yourself, poverty will discipline you.
Mm-hmm. If you don't discipline yourself, poverty will discipline you.
Yes.
That's a good line.
Yeah, so a lot of us are not focused. We are not committed. We just keep saying, oh, I would love to be rich, or I want to get out of poverty, but we are doing nothing about it.
All right, what's the place of, Femi was talking about rules of wealth. What's the place of passion, dreams, and determination, as well as integrity in wealth creation, becoming and wealth creation and becoming an entrepreneur?
Yeah, the first step is your mindset. You want to have a mindset of a millionaire. Robert Stanley says that if you want to become a millionaire, you think like one. You have to know how to motivate yourself to conquer fear with courage. And so once your mindset has changed, because a lot of us have preconceived notion, our subconscious, the way our parents raised us, they raised us to fear money. They raised us to look at people who are wealthy in a negative way. They raised us to feel that once we get employed in a public service or in a good company,
that's it.
and we just get into that cycle and we keep on rolling and we never get out of it. So once you have that, then you start to dream. You start to conjure in your mind where you want to be in 20 years' time, in 30 years' time, or even in 10 years' time. And then you commit yourself to your dream. Every day you carry a notebook in your pocket, and whenever something occurs to you, you put it down. Then your passion comes, because you now know that your mindset, your interest is in particular area. Let's say your interest is broadcasting. But you don't want to stop at being a broadcaster. You want to now go into a realm of owning a broadcasting house. And you're only 24 or 25 years old. And it may seem impossible for some people, but for those who dream, it is attainable. And then that is now your passion. Every day you live it. You now start reading books about great broadcasters like Ted Turner, Nduka Obagbena, and all the rest of them. And these are entrepreneurs who have created wealth and invested money successfully. So you want to read a lot of books about them. You want to probe into their life. What did they do wrong? And while you are doing this, you are working, you are setting aside money. You are building your wealth gradually. You are saving. You are multiplying 2, 3, 4 years on the job. You have accumulated certain wealth. Now you now begin to think, now, how do I now actualize my dream? I need a mentor. I need to come close to somebody who has been there before me. I want to stand on his or her shoulder so I can see far ahead. That is mentoring. And you have to choose your mentor. You have to follow that mentor, learn a lot from that mentor. All this I'm describing to you, I went through it. It's practical experience. It's not theory. I picked my mentor in my early 30s when I was opportune to work with an entrepreneur giant. Otumba Shibomibalogu started FCMB. I was his executive assistant, and I went everywhere with him. I learned from him. I studied him. And all I learned from him, became useful for me when I became a managing director of a bank a few years after. So mentoring is very important. And then while you are doing this, you discipline yourself. Believe me, if you want to be rich, you don't spend all your time, running around one party or the other, one nightclub, popping champagne everywhere.
Like some people do. When they see their neighbors buy a car, they want to buy one, buy a freeze, they want to buy one.
Exactly.
Meanwhile, you don't know, like Kiyosaki says, that it's my money that is bringing me money, not just the salary I'm taking.
No, it's not. It's
all right.
Well,
go on.
Femi, I wanted to ask you, what is the end goal here? Do you think, in your experience, that money or wealth, or either of them or both of them, do you think that money can buy happiness? Is that the end goal for people?
Let me explain to you. My chapter 2 is wealth is freedom. That is the greatest freedom you can attain. Freedom to change the world. Freedom to do things that others would not even dream of doing. Freedom to set up foundation and help the poor. Freedom to train people, award scholarships. When you see the likes of Bill Gates, you wonder. He's now devoted his lifetime to change the course of history, to help people, poor people all over the world. This is what wealth does for you. Freedom to even attain high public office. That's the thing about politics. A lot of people go into politics without creating wealth for themselves. They think they will get wealth when they get into politics. But what they will get is money. Money they obtain through one crooked means or the other. And it will not last. Look at the history of Nigeria. Many people have served in public office. Where are they today? Where is their wealth? Some of them are broke. Some are very poor.
Let's get in as much as possible. I hope I get into politics later at the part of the program.
Yeah.
If I can't, well, that will be it. Well, in your book, in one of the chapters, you began by saying a man is what he reads. Someone else said readers are learners. Another said the day you stop reading, you start dying. Yet another said think and grow rich. As a man thinks, so he is. I wanted to put these in perspective and how they correlate with an entrepreneurial mindset.
Yeah, the entrepreneurial mindset is somebody who has decided that I want to take risk. Muhammad Ali says that if you don't have the courage to take risk, you will never be able to create wealth. In fact, you will not be able to accomplish anything. And that is the truth about entrepreneurship. And once you have that mindset of entrepreneurship, the next thing is to start well. The greatest problem people have when they go into entrepreneurship is they don't do it well. They don't do it well, they don't take their time, and they want to do it alone. No one can carry a load on his head with one hand. You need people. But many of us here, we are always afraid to partner with people. It is teamwork that makes things happen. Michael Jordan says, teamwork wins championship. Talent wins games. And that's the same thing with businesses. A lot of businesses you see struggling is because one person is the only one carrying the load. He's the accountant, he's the technical director, he's the marketing director, he's the bookkeeper, he's the personnel manager.
You're talking about delegation here.
Not only delegation,
okay.
Teaming up with people.
All right.
Like for instance, if your dream is to start a broadcasting house, you can't do it alone. So you look for people who share that same dream with you, and both of you start working together from the inception. And you put funds together. You can be more than 2. You can be 3, 4, 5, 6. If today I ask you, do you think I ever hold a property in Banana Island? You say, where will I get it?
You already killed yourself by saying, where will I get it?
But you can do it.
All right, let me because before we run out of time, I wouldn't end this program without talking about this. Let's just get a little bit into politics. I hope you don't mind.
It's okay.
And on a political note, you were pardoned by the House of Assembly in 2015 after you returned to ask your then principal, Tinubu, for forgiveness. 36 members supported you. Did you eventually get your entitlements?
Yes, I did.
You did?
Yes.
All right.
Okay. I think that's a good place for us to end. Femi Pedro, thank you very much. Before you go, actually, I do have a final question. Where can people, our listeners, our viewers, get a copy of your book? How easy is it to get a copy of
The physical copy is available here in Lagos. It will be on bookshops in the next 2 weeks, all over the place. And if you can't get it in any bookshop, you can send an email to formulaforwealth.ng. Formulaforwealth.ng.
Formulaforwealth.ng.
I hope you got it there. You're watching.
Absolutely. Well, thank you very much to Femi Pedro.